want to talk about something that I struggle with a lot in this life, right? Y'all ever been in those situations, right? You wake up in the morning, you're getting ready for work, you're getting ready for school, and right, you go throughout your day, you plan actually you plan your entire week, and you have this thing in your mind of not knowing what is going to come today, right? What is going to happen today? What is going to take place? Is somebody gonna swerve in my lane today? Is somebody going to make me mad at work? Is somebody going to make me mad at my job, at school? You know what I'm saying? Somebody, am I gonna allow people to kind of get in my head? Like, what am I going to allow this week? Uncertainty. I'm going to be talking about uncertainty of life. And this is something I struggle with a lot. The uncertainties, the worries of life, right? The Bible talks about to not worry, right? To not worry, right? We could think about disciples, right? Jesus' disciples who worried about their own lives while they were on a boat with storming rains and raging seas, that they believed that they were going to die. They believed that everything was going to be over. They believed everything was going to be done, but Jesus was on the boat with them. And so they started questioning Jesus, like, Father, are you going to, we're about to drown. Like, are you going to let us die? Are you going to let us perish? Right? Jesus just chilling in the, you know what I'm saying, in the cut, just chilling on the boat. He's not worried. Then he's like, bro, do you have little faith? Do you have little faith? He's asking his disciples, mind you, disciples, these were Jesus's chosen followers. Chosen followers. God ordained each and every one of them to be his chosen followers. So think about it. Your own followers, they should know who you are. They should know what your power is. They should know how special you are. But they're doubting Jesus and his power. It's like, but see, that's that uncertainty. That's that little faith. That's that worrisome mentality that a lot of us have. A lot of us struggle with, and that's fine. That's okay to sometimes, not know what's going to happen. But when you start worrying, you start doubting God, that's when you take another turn, right? That's where trust comes in. That's where discipline and patience comes in. That's where, depending on God comes in. That's where it truly starts to form that bond relationship and that unbroken and unbreakable trust. See, my thing is, look, something I struggle with is uncertainty because I don't know what my future looks like. I know, yes, God has taken care of he's taken care of my past. He's taking care of the present. He's taking care of my future. But my thing is, how am I worry about uncertainty with my decisions, right? So obviously the Lord gives us free will. So I worry about, like, look, like, if I go do this, if I go to this function, what are the possibilities of things that could happen, right? Or if I eat this thing, how could my body react? What could, come? What bad could come from it? What good could come from it, right? If I go down this path of a career, what could happen? Who could I meet? What could go wrong? But see, in front of my head, I'm always thinking about what could go wrong, right? Because I feel like the negativity a lot of times clouds our positive, thinking and our inclination to think that good things can happen. Because especially when you've had bad experiences, it happens. You're gonna have negative experiences that are gonna cloud the good days, right? The bad times oftentimes overcloud the good days. Because when you're in that crap, when you're in that deep, dark pit, it seems like there's no way to get out of it. Therefore, you don't think about getting out of it, right? And so uncertainty is something that's a reality we have to live with, right? Not being able to control your circumstances, that's uncertainty. That's a reality you have to live with, right? I think what I'm trying to teach in this video is to learn to live in the reality of, yes, you cannot control everything. You cannot control who wants to talk to you. You cannot control who loves you. You cannot control who God puts in your life. You cannot control, actually, you can control certain things to an extent, right? But ultimately, you can control your environment, but you can't control all your circumstances in your environment. You cannot control who likes you a lot of times. You cannot control who, wants to be in a relationship with you. You cannot control, how much money you make. Sometimes you can't control, even if you put in a bunch of work, sometimes you can't control how much money you make because there are uphills and downhills. There's uncertainty. There's always something that could go wrong, always something that can go right, because that is the mystery of life. That is the up and downhill battle of life. That's just how it goes. That's how it rolls, and that's how it rumbles. See, I don't think you're understanding me. See, what I have to tell myself is when I'm dealing with uncertainty though, and this is how I combat it, right? I know that God is the author, right? I know He is not the author of confusion. Therefore, if something doesn't seem right, it is not from God, right? Yes, I can ask God what this may mean. I can ask God, yes, what is the whole point of this? Yes. But one thing I stopped doing is really asking God what all this means. You know what question I do ask God, right? Instead of asking what does this all mean, I said, what do you have for me? What what do you truly have for me, right? Not what does this mean? What do you have for me? Because if you truly trust God, if you truly love God, then there's no questioning. But see, we question because we don't understand why things happen to certain people. We don't understand why things happen to certain, ethnic cultures and countries and groups of people and even, and of course, ourselves. We don't understand, right? But guess what? In the Bible, plenty of times, the Lord may have, like I've been reading Exodus, and Moses was told, the Lord told Moses, yes, to go, let your people go, do these things, right? But not once did he tell Moses to be like, yeah, this is done by God, right? Especially when, what was that story I was reading? But I believe it was an angel who approached somebody. Oh, Mary. I think it was Mary, basically telling her about Jesus and how he was coming. But notice, it was Mary and I believe Joseph, and Joseph didn't necessarily understand like, okay, who should I tell about this? And like, since I got this news from you, who, what name should I use? But guess what God said? Guess what God said? Actually, it wasn't even God. It was the angel that God sent. The angel told him, don't tell him anything. Don't tell him name because you won't understand. The name is too great. It's too great, right? Too great for you to understand. So what I'm trying to tell you is in this video is that you will not understand the uncertainty of your situation. You will never understand the uncertainty of your environment, of your life. You don't know. But what you do and can lean on is God's love, His direction, His wisdom, His understanding. That's if you obey Him, and that's if you are constantly seeking and desiring Him for wisdom. Then He'll keep you on that straight and narrow path. That's up to you though. You have to make that decision for yourself. I hope you learned something from this video. Take it, apply it to your life. Share this video with somebody that may need it. Share this video with 5 of your friends, family members, anybody that may need it. Because I'm sure somebody may need it. But as always, God bless.